Garrett Blevins here with 3 days from the last 2 weeks. This is the last day of week 2, the heavy bench day. I didn't get precise volume, but I think it was somewhere close to 30,000 pounds of total movement, somewhere in between there and 28,000. I believe it was 5 sets of 2 with, 380. And I believe I'm going to be coming up on what's called actually a light day, but it's light only in comparison, where I'll be doing triples with this weight. So I'm interested to see how that goes. These doubles felt a little bit heavy, but I have some form that I need to correct. Pretty much the biggest issue I'm having is I'm unhinging my shoulders at the bottom of the bench press, and my shoulders are coming forward a little bit more than they should, which makes the every rep after the first one more difficult than it needs to be. I think part of the way to deal with that is to come up on my shoulders a little bit more. Here you see the grip width that I'm using for my wide benching. I'm doing the as many reps as possible sets, the AMRAP sets with this extra wide grip. This is something I've seen Dan Green incorporate into his training, and it's something that I'm going to give a shot. Next you see there's a deadlift day in between here, but this is the light bench day. Volume was very high on this day because of how low the weight was on the AMRAP sets after the main working sets. And so I think it came out it was over 45,000 pounds of volume for this workout. The workout lasted about an hour and 15 minutes. And so it started with 5 sets of 3 at 355, and then some AMRAP sets with 245, something like 50 or 55%. If you're curious about the King-Predator bench program, I put out a video and a free downloadable sheet that has the program itself. Here you see, I believe, the second AMRAP set with 245. And first one I went for 20 reps, and the second one I went for 19. This really put the volume for the day very high. Again, you can see that wider grip that I'm using for these AMRAP sets right after the main benching. This was then followed by some close grip benching. I'm trying to work on my bench form as much as I can, and you'll see from this angle that I'm keeping my shoulders pretty well tucked throughout the lift. It was easier to do that with a lighter weight. Here's the close grip work that I did. I'm pretty happy with this form. I like my elbow position. I also like my shoulder position, as well as how quickly I'm flaring my elbows. The more fatigued I become, the faster I flare my elbows, and the more difficult the press is. However, that's just kind of bound to happen when you're doing AMRAP sets. After this, I believe there was some palms facing flat dumbbell presses, as well as some French presses. Then I have a squat day in here, working on the low bar form, also unhinging at the hips first and trying to sit back, and using flat-soled shoes. I was very surprised at how easy it was to hit depth today. Really did no mobility work at all in the gym. I did some the night before, just a little bit, and just some light stretching before I started these. I'm not on any particular program right now with my squatting. Right now I'm sticking to Prilpin's chart and doing triples through, I believe, the 70 to 80% range for about 5 sets of 3. And today I moved up to what I thought was going to be for doubles, but ended up doing 2 sets for triples still, even though I moved up into the next rep range, which was fairly encouraging. I tried to mess around with my belt a little bit today. You'll see that it's not touching my lower back. There's a little bit of a gap there, and part of that's the way that my spinal erectors are developed, but I'm trying to move the belt in such a way that I can get it tighter around my midsection. This is the weight that I did the first week without a belt for a set of 3, and today it just felt much easier. I'm hoping that I can just increase these triples by 5 to 10 pounds every week and slowly work my way up to maybe at least 585 for 3, maybe beyond that. So I'll just have to slowly progress through and see that. I also may start the Cube Kingpin set and rep ranges again. I haven't decided entirely. I would like to keep my shins a little bit more vertical than they ended up today and sit back a little bit more, but for the, I believe, 3rd day attempting this new low bar form, it was a lot more comfortable. and I thought that the form was quite a bit better. Again, the cues for elbows down or forward at the bottom of the squat was very helpful, especially on this set. This is the highest I went, which was 545. And as soon as I would move my elbows forward, I would feel like the weight would almost move upwards automatically. And so it made these reps very easy, and I'm excited to see where I can go from there. I decided to follow those sets of squats, those triples, with some 5x5s with front squats, trying to increase my shoulder and wrist mobility, and so I am trying to hold it on my shoulders, but this was very uncomfortable. I worked up to a set of 5 with 315. I believe I started one set with 225, then 275, 295, and finally 315. Overall volume for the day was about 26,000 pounds after I did some lat pull downs and hamstring curls. I was reminded of the psalm that I'm working on for one of my classes, that the righteous will never be moved, but they will be remembered forever. They are not afraid of bad news because their heart is firm, trusting in the Lord. I thought about this as I thought about squatting and benching this week, about how important the foundation is. On a few of my squats, I would come out of the hole uneven, and I am pushing more with my left leg than my right, and that's the issue that I'm having right now, as well as my shoulders unhinging at the bottom of the bench press. And it's a real tangible reminder about how if you don't have a firm foundation, if you don't have something that you can trust in, then you're not going to be stable. You're not going to be able to laugh at bad news and look at your enemies and see triumph instead of defeat. And I'm reminded that in the Christian life we have to keep our eyes on the Lord and trust in God as our foundation, or else we're not going to be able to stand. And the righteous is always trusting in the Lord and not trusting in their own strength. So that's what I've been thinking about. Appreciate all you out there. Hope wherever you're at, you're doing well. Blessings.